At 6, Joe Biden addresses America for the first time since the election. The outgoing president said there will and must be a peaceful transition of power.
Something I hope we can do, no matter who you voted for, is see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans. Bring down the temperature.
Smiling for the cameras, Donald Trump and his family celebrate alongside Elon Musk, who could be in line for one of the top jobs in a new White House. So, as one administration draws to a close in Washington, there's a new center of political power for the next few weeks at least, and it's here in Florida.
Now, this is Japan's Mount Fuji, famous for its snowy peak, but this year it has stood bare since the summer for the first time in more than a century. However, the snow has finally fallen. This is what it looks like today. It's a month later than usual, a light dusting for now after one of Japan's hottest summers on record. But it's hoped that Mount Fuji, one of Japan's most popular tourist attractions, will return to its full glory, full snow-covered glory, very soon, after its longest period without a white peak since 1894.
Our headlines today. Kamala Harris concedes the US presidential election to Donald Trump.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
Good morning from Washington, where President Biden is due to address the nation today as America prepares for a second Trump era. The next president is now choosing his senior team. Will there be a government role for his billionaire supporter, Elon Musk? And Sir Keir Starmer has called Donald Trump to congratulate him. We'll be getting more reaction from leaders around the world.
Good morning. Could we see a cut to interest rates today? The Bank of England will announce its decision later. So what's it going to mean for your money?
Take a look at the papers. Not really much of a surprise when we look at what is dominating the front pages. Many using the same image of Donald Trump, including The Independent, which calls the victory the greatest comeback in US political history. The Times says Mr. Trump has promised a golden age for the United States, his ambitious agenda including tougher rules on migration, trade and climate change, as well as ending the war in Ukraine on day one in office.
Let's have a look at the Mirror. They say Donald Trump's return to power has sparked global uncertainty and fear. The headline is, "What have they done again?" You can see there. And The Sun, "You're rehired." They go, the former host of The Apprentice, of course, where his catchphrase was, "You're fired." Gets his old job back in the White House for what they're calling Season 2.
Should we take a look at what's in the insides? When you think of how bats move, what do you think they do?
Fly.
Well, yes, they do that. But did you know they are very capable runners?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's quite an odd image. It's a bit horror filmy. They scuttle along the ground on their legs and folded wings, which allows them to sneak up on cattle and other prey when they can then just use their teeth and painless bite to suck blood. So what scientists have done is they've taken a look at the nutrients that bats get from blood and how quickly they use them or whether they use their body reserves. And it's shown. So what they did is quite an odd. They put them on a treadmill, on a little wheel, not a treadmill. You know the wheels. Yeah. What are they called? And these bats have really. So they travelled up to speeds of 1.1 miles per hour.
Well, it's not that quick, actually. If you'd asked me, I'd say so. I'm trying to think if there were one here on the table and it was going 1 mile an hour. I'd be thinking it'd go faster.
For 90 minutes.
OK, that's quite a long time.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound very fair on the bat on a treadmill,
And
really.
so what they found, they analysed their breath, right? And they saw that they were taking energy from their recent blood meal rather than relying on stored fats. So, yeah, it's all about which resources you can use when you want food.
I'm no bat expert, but I think bat breath cannot be nice.
Collins.
A couple from southwest London are calling for coroners' recommendations to be acted upon after losing their baby son in a case of sudden unexplained death in childhood. After Lewis's death, there was an inquest in which the coroner made a number of recommendations aimed at frontline health services in order to help prevent future deaths. But coroners in England have no powers to implement the recommendations, which has left his parents feeling as if they've had no closure.
We felt these were going to be far-reaching. They committed to nothing. They committed to no change. They committed to didn't give us a timeline or expectation. It was just, it felt like it was an annoyance to them.
Nearly £3 million has been pledged by the government as an emergency support package for London's rough sleepers this winter. It comes after rough sleeping in the capital hit a record high, with 4,780 people sleeping out, with 155 dying on the streets. The money is part of a £10 million fund across the UK.
Well, £10 million is about recognising the catastrophic emergency situation we now see with homelessness in this country. The rough sleeping, we're going into winter again. Many more people are finding themselves rough sleeping. There's an additional 233 million on top for all forms of homelessness, taking that over to over £1 billion.
Now, if Christmas can't come soon enough for you, you can immerse yourself in some festive cheer at Battersea Power Station from tonight, because an open-air ice rink opens and will remain in place for the next 8 weeks, including themed nights. Others opening this week include ice rinks at Greenwich, Westfield and Brent Cross shopping centres. A bit too early for my liking.
Sales of used electric cars have reached a record high. New figures from the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders show more than 53,000 vehicles changed hands between July and September, an increase of more than 50% on the same time last year. Prince William has awarded £5 million to 5 different inventors, entrepreneurs and organisations working to reduce climate change. The Earthshot Prize winners were announced at a ceremony in Cape Town, South Africa.
Interest rates are cut for the second time this year to 4.75%. An inquiry names John Smythe as the Church of England's most prolific abuser and says those at the highest level knew and didn't do enough to stop it. Doctors are urged to make HRT the go-to treatment for women with the symptoms of menopause. And will Australia be the first country in the world to ban social media for children under the age of 16?
And on BBC London before 7, millions to tackle rough sleeping in London. But as the number of people on our streets hits a record high, is it enough?
We do need resource to tackle this issue, and this money is welcome, but there is a long way to go.
Well, the founder of the Big Issue magazine, Lord John Bird, who used to be homeless himself, speaks to me about the money, also tonight. The Metropolitan Police Commissioner warns of eye-watering cuts ahead of a government spending review. A campaign challenging the closure of children's centres in East London forces Hackney Council to admit it acted unlawfully.
Whether it's all too soon or couldn't come soon enough, little by little, London is lighting up for Christmas, and we'll bring you some festive sparkle later in the programme.
A 60-year-old woman has been killed in a hit-and-run crash in northwest London. It happened on Kingsbury Road just after midnight. The woman died at the scene. Police are appealing for witnesses to come forward or anyone with dashcam footage to contact police or Crime Stoppers. A fourth case of a new strain of the Mpox virus has been detected. The patient is at Guy's and St Thomas's NHS Foundation Trust. The UK Health Security Agency said the overall risk to the population still remains low. A father accused of murdering his daughter Sarah Sharif has told a court that the 10-year-old stepmother Bainish Batul is a psycho and evil. Sarah's body was found with dozens of injuries at the family home in Woking. Her father Irfan Sharif, stepmother and uncle Faisal Malik all deny murder. Musician Ed Sheeran has donated a signed guitar to help a primary school in Essex with its fundraising. The Downs Primary and Nursery School in Harlow will sell raffle tickets for an expected £1 each. Sheeran has links to the school through close family friends.